Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Samapprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Mukti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamukti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Klishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana Padabaho Sahasranamnam Stavanam Prashastam Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. Namaste once again, everyone.
Hari Om Mahodaya, Namaste.
Hari Om, Namaste. So, we were seeing this shloka in the last class. Asankyeyo prameyatma visishtasishtakrichushihi siddhartha siddha sankalpaha siddhita siddhi sadhanaha. So the shloka we are seeing now. And when we were seeing the namas of this shloka, the last nama we saw was Visishtaha. And in that context, there was a question. But I think Sukhdev ji asked that question. And that was, what is the context of Visishtaha used in the term Visishtadvaita? This was the question. So I thought I will deal with that first before going into the other namas of this sloka. And I had promised that I will deal with this Visishta Advaita Darshana briefly in today's class. Of course, I did give the spur of the moment an answer to the question in the last class. It was in the Satsanga time. But after, when I listened to the recording, I felt that the explanation what I gave was not entirely correct. So I had promised that I will explain the meaning by sharing a beautiful shloka of Hanuman, and which I will now I will recite the shloka. But before that, the context of the shloka we need to understand. It seems that after the war with Ravana was over and Rama returned to Ayodhya, one day Rama suddenly asked Hanuman, "Who are you or what are you?" Hey Hanuman, what are you? Meaning whether he is a human or a monkey. And Hanuman is taken aback by this question because he has been with Rama through the war and everything, and suddenly Rama is asking this question, "Who are you or what are you?" He could not understand first why Rama was asking that question. But Hanuman, being an intellectual super giant, immediately realized that The reason why Rama is asking that question, there must be a larger purpose behind that question. And so he gives him the following answer. What is that answer? This is the shloka. Deha drishtya tu dasoham, jiva drishtya twadamshakaha, vastutaha tu tvamevaham, iti me nischita matihi. This is the shloka he gives. Iti me nischita matihi. This is my conviction. This is my, I am convinced about this belief. This is, what is that conviction? This shloka very beautifully outlines the basis of the three darshanas. Dvaitam, Visishta Advaitam and Advaitam. Hanumanji says, Deha drishtya tu aham dasaha. From the standpoint of this body, I am your dasaha, I am your servant. So from the point of view of this body, and body we can take Stula, Shura, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira, all the entire physical body, physical and subtle body. I am separate and you are separate. Hanumanji says to Rama, I am a separate entity, you are a separate entity, and I am your servant. I am here to serve you. And this is the essence of Dvaitam philosophy. Complete separation between Jiva and Ishvara. In fact, the Dvaitins, if you tell them Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi and all, they will rise in anger. Their philosophy is based on separation at the body level. And which is the Pratyaksha Pramana they use. They don't use any other Pramana for this. Because experientially, Bhagavan is different, I am different, so I cannot be Bhagavan. And of course, there is some content of Veda Purva Bhaga also. Because in Veda Purva Bhaga, the assumption is the Devas are different, they are superpowers, and we Jivas, we have to give oblations to the Devas for our welfare, for the purpose of achieving our Purusharthas like Dharma, Artha and Kama Purusharthas. For that we have to please the Devas. So this is again the Dvaitam is there. So Veda Purva Bhaga plus Pratyaksha Pramana put together and reasoning based on the empirical reality, which is what the experiential reality, where Jiva and Ishvara are treated as separate entities. And according to them, according to the Dvaitins, moksha is possible only after death, which is going to Swarga Loka based on punya earned during the lives. And they don't talk about what happens. Suppose you go to Swarga Loka based upon punya. When the punyas actually is exhausted, the punya which gave you the visa to go to the Swarga Loka, the visa has expired, then what happened? They don't talk about it. And that's what Bhagavan says in the Krishna, Kshine Punye Swarga Lokam Vishanti. That part they don't talk about at all. So there this thing ends. Philosophy ends by going to Swarga Loka, which is what they call it as moksha. So this is the Dvaitam philosophy. Deha drishtya tu aham dasaha. This is the Dvaitam philosophy. Now next he says, Jiva drishtya tvat amshakaha. From the point of view of Jiva, that is Jivatma, the Atma which is getting reflected in the Jiva, which is the Upadhi. Hanumanji says, Tvat amshakaha, I am a part of you. Because you are Paramatma and I am Jivatma.
Advaita.
This is Visishta Advaita. So even though there is a difference between Jivatma and Paramatma is maintained, there is also a partial understanding of the oneness, because Jiva is treated not as totally separate from Paramatma, but as an amsha or a part of Paramatma. And this is the Visishta Advaitam philosophy. 1 minute, I think I'm getting somebody is not muted, so I request everybody to please mute. I'm getting some background talk. So this is the Vishishta Advaitam philosophy, which is based on Amsha Amshi Bhava. Part of the whole. Bhagavan Paramatma is the whole, and I Jivatma am a part of that. And this teaching also, this philosophy is also not based on the teachings of the Upanishads. When the Advaitins say that, but Upanishad talk about Tattvamasi, that Paramatma you are, for that the Visishta Advaitins say, actually there is a mistake. Not a mistake, it is actually a Sanskrit issue, a grammar issue. The word tat in Tattvamasi should be read as tasya. Because tat means that, tasya means your, it's. So according to them, the Mahavakya, which occurs in Chandogya Upanishad, Tattvamasi 9 times. Tattvamasi occurs in Chandogya Upanishad 9 times. Every time, according to Visishta Advaitins, it must be read as Tasya Tvamasi, Tasya Tvamasi, Tasya Tvamasi. You belong to him. Therefore, you cannot be equated to him. That is their interpretation of Tattvamasi. So they don't totally, flare up when we say Tattvamasi, but they say, no, this is how Tattvamasi should be understood. But then we counter. Okay, Tattvamasi, you say it is Tasya Tvamasi. What about Aham Brahmasmi? There is no question of any grammar interpretation. They say, no, this is all as an arrogant statement, Aham Brahmasmi. How can you equate yourself with Brahman? How can you equate with Bhagavan? Bhagavan is superior. You are an inferior being. So they dismiss that statement. They don't even want to talk about that because they have no answer for that. Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma. So many statements are there. So many Mahavakyas are there in the Upanishads. They don't want to talk about that. Conveniently, they pick up Tattvamasi and they Tasya Tvamasi. So this is the essence of Visishta Advaita. And for them also, moksha can be got only after death. Right? Then Hanumanji says the third sentence, Vastutaha tu tvamevaham. Vastutaha tu. Tu means whereas. Vastutaha, in reality. From the standpoint of absolute reality, Tvameva aham, I am you only. There is no difference between you and me. And this is the essence of Advaita Siddhanta. This is the message of the Upanishads, which is condensed in these Mahavakyas like Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Atma Brahma. And there are hundreds of Mahavakyas which are there in Upanishads, which equate the Jivatma and Paramatma. So the message of the Upanishads, and which is the message of Bhagavad Gita also, is in reality there is no difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. They are one. Therefore, in Advaita, For moksha, there is no need to travel, take one visa and passport and all, go to Swarga or Vaikuntha or Kailasha, etc. is involved. Moksha in Advaitam is a matter of understanding the oneness of Jivatma and Paramatma. So from a Dvaitam standpoint, Jiva and Ishvara cannot be equated because Jiva is a limited entity, limited by time and space, whereas Ishvara is limited. Ishvara is beyond time and space. Jiva is Alpajnaha, Alpashaktiman, whereas Ishvara is Sarvajnaha and Sarvashaktiman. Therefore, they say, given these vast differences, Jiva and Ishvara cannot be equated. So, Deha Drishtiya, because all these limitations and all are from the point of view of the body level. So, from that standpoint, they are absolutely correct. Dvaitins are correct. It is a correct philosophy. And in fact, as I have been saying often, to come to Advaita, one has to first get into Dvaitam first. At least recognize that there is someone called Ishvara, Bhagavan is there. Go to the temple, meet with Ishvara, spend quality time with Ishvara, make Ishvara your friend. Whenever you have got any problem, any issues in your life, talk to that Ishvara. Not in front of everybody, because they will think that there is something wrong with you. If you have an altar or a separate room or an altar at your home, go sit there in before, close your eyes and then silently talk to Ishvara. I am having this problem, Ishvara. That is the very good way to begin the spiritual journey. In fact, the spiritual journey should begin there only. And that is why we expose our children to this Dvaitam first, right from childhood rather. And what the Upanishads say is that all these perceived differences, they are based on Sharira Dharma, as I told you, at the level of our body. And according to the Upanishad, there is one and only absolute reality, which is Paramatma, which we call Brahman. And what we call Jivatma, which is the Visishta Advaitam philosophy, Jivatma, Paramatma being a part of that Paramatma. The Upanishads say that the Jivatma actually doesn't exist in reality, but Jivatma appears to exist because Jivatma is nothing but a reflection of the Paramatma in the body of this Jiva. The body which the Jiva is occupying, the intellect, the manas of in that body, they act as a mirror to reflect the Paramatma, the consciousness in this body. So even though between the original image and the reflected image, there is a perceived difference, but the reflected image has no independent existence. Its existence is dependent totally on the original image. It is just like examples given are, the reflection of the sun in mirror, or in, suppose there's a lot of broken pieces of mirrors lying on the ground, on the floor, and then there is a sun above. We can see one sun in each broken piece of mirror, isn't it? But actually, are there so many different suns? No, there is only one sun which is there up, and that reflection is there in the mirrors. Similarly, what the Upanishad says is all these bodies, all these jivas which you are actually recognizing as Jivatma, they are all like that mirrors reflecting that one sun. So Paramatma is that sun. There is only one Paramatma. That is the only thing which is there. That's why Puja Swamiji, while responding to the other religions which says that there is only one God. There is only one God, everybody says. Pujya Swamiji says that's an incorrect statement. We should say that there is only God. There is no question of one God. One, you can use an adjective if there are 2, 3, 4 and all. But there is no 2, 3, 4. There is only one. So there is no need to say there is one God. You just say there is only God. So the Jivatma as such has no independent existence because it is only a reflection. It is just like when we are walking on the road and the sun is shining from behind and we see a shadow in front of us. As long as we do not have an understanding that that is a shadow, sometimes seeing the size of that shadow, which is very huge, because the angle of the sun is actually putting the shadow as a huge shadow, we will think that it is actually some other entity, and we may even develop a fear for that if we do not know that it is our own shadow. But when we know that it is our shadow, we will have no fear of that, whatever be its size or shape. So the dependence, the existence of that shadow is nothing. The existence of the shadow depends totally upon us, our existence. So similarly, for all these Jivatmas, the existential reality is borrowed from Paramatma only. And therefore he says that Vastutah, in terms of absolute reality, what we need to focus on is the Atma Dharma and not Sharira Dharma. We focus on Sharira Dharma because of our ignorance of the reality. And once we gain the knowledge of the reality through the study of the Upanishads and abide in that knowledge also, all these notions of differences between Jivatma and Paramatma and all will disappear. And that state is what is described as moksha in Advaita. And the person who has reached that state is called a jnani. But of course, to reach that stage, one has to make a beginning by being an adhikari. That is, a person eligible and fit enough to receive that knowledge. And of course, the Shastras prescribe a number of sadhanas for gaining this fitness. Because for other, other darshanas, there is no question of any fitness.
You mean like for a group dance? Kala, any songs?
Can you please mute whoever is there?
Any songs?
Who is talking?
Latest.
They are not here.
ஆஹானா பெல்லண்டா வந்தாச்சு. அப்புறம் வந்து அத்திமேரி பச்சனாலே அந்த இது பாட்டு. ஓஹோ, அது மாயா பஜார்ல இருந்து 2 பாட்டு வந்தாச்சு.
Jayashree ji, please mute.
Hey, just to
I request all of you, be aware what the class is going on, and don't entertain any phone calls if it can be avoided, or if it is an emergency, go outside the room where you are the class is going on and then talk, because it disturbs not only the teacher but also other students who are interestingly listening without getting distracted by these phone calls. So it's my request to you, please have some respect for what is going on. So as I was saying, the Shastras prescribed a number of sadhanas for gaining this fitness. And as I said, Dvaitam doesn't require any fitness. Anybody can be, I am Jiva, I am a separate entity, Bhagavan is a separate entity, that no need for any fitness. Only thing is fitness is consciousness should be there. A person should be conscious and having, awareness. Visishta Advaitam, of course, again, there is no need for fitness. If at all you say you must study the Puranas and all, which talk about, this Visishta Advaitam. And actually, there is nothing called Visishta Advaitam in the Shastras and all. Even Advaitam is not a word which is used in the Shastras. Shastras don't envisage all these darshanas. They all came later on and they got labeled as these different thought processes. So this non-dual reality, this Advaitam also, is a phrase coined by Adi Shankara based upon his understanding of what exactly is the real essential teaching of the Upanishads. Because the word Advaitam is not used in the Upanishads at all. It only talks about there is only one. That's all the Upanishads say. Ekameva. That is what the Upanishads say. So, for purpose of understanding, gaining the knowledge of the Upanishads, as I was saying, number of sadhanas is prescribed. For first of all, gaining the fitness. And a very important component of these sadhanas is the consistent practice of karma yoga for the length of time. And as I told earlier also in earlier classes, karma yoga is to be practiced for chitta shuddhi. And that is exactly what we are doing now by learning the meanings of Vishnu Sahasranamam. Vishnu Sahasranamam, learning, chanting, parayanam, all these things come all part of karma yoga, provided we actually undertake this sadhana with the attitude of karma yoga, with Ishwararpana buddhi and Ishwara prasada buddhi. That is the essence of karma yoga. So it is only after gaining this fitness will the message or teachings of the Upanishad make any sense to any person. Otherwise, they will say, we don't even understand what everything is going above the head. And which is what happens to most of the people when they start listening to talks on Advaita Vedanta. And once this Adhikaritvam or the fitness is gained, then the Shastras prescribe 3 sadhanas to gain the doubtless knowledge, and they are what? Shravanam, which is a thorough study of the teachings of the Upanishad and related granthas like Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra, etc., from a qualified guru. Mananam, which is contemplate on the teachings, in fact, not exactly contemplate, it is to reflect on the teachings and seek clarifications in order to gain conviction about that knowledge. Because while learning, a lot of doubts may come up in one's mind. Because our problem is we are already exposed to other, not only other darshanas, other astika darshanas, but we are also exposed to other religions also today. We say Christianity says this, Islam says this, so what about our this thing? Why we don't say that? So many doubts may come in our mind. So in order to seek clarifications for those doubts, the exercise is called Mananam. So we do a lot of research, we study more material. We go to the Guru and ask the doubt and seek clarifications. Once that process is over, we will gain, conviction about the knowledge. And once that conviction is gained, the third sadhana is Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam is basically meditating on the knowledge gained in order to get rid of our present orientation of Dvaitam, which is by and large is Dvaitam, and change that orientation, that thinking, that belief from Dvaitam to Advaitam, the change to from duality or plurality to non-duality, non-difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. That sadhana is meant for the Nididhyasanam is meant for And once this sadhana is also successfully completed, one becomes a jnani, convinced about what the Upanishad says is the correct thing. That is the absolute reality. Everything else that I experience in this entire prapancha, even though they all appear to be real, but they are mithya, they are maya. It is just like I am watching a magic show. In a magic show, I see the magician bring up doing so many things which appear real. But at the back of my mind, I know that they are not real. It cannot be real. The magician is cutting somebody into half, two halves, and separates the two parts of the body. People who have got a faint heart will all, shout at that, or what is the correct word? I don't know. They will get shocked by that. But people who know the reality will enjoy the show. Oh, he's a wonderful, this is a great magician. He can do he can make it appear as if he has cut the body, even though in reality the body has not been cut. That's why it is called Maya. This entire prapancha which we are experiencing, which we are seeing in our present status, when we actually become jnanis, when we get that knowledge of Advaitam, then we will understand that all this is only an appearance. Actually, in reality, they don't exist. And this is what is Advaita Siddhanta defines as moksha, freedom from bondage. And as we have discussed, this bondage is of two types. One is the bondage of the samsara itself, living in this miserable world. Another is the bondage of rebirth. So moksha means, in Advaita Darshana, moksha means getting freedom from these two types of bondages. Of course, as I said, we have seen all these ideas in the Dhyana Slokas. I will not go into the details. Therefore, it is only in Advaita Darshana that one can get moksha while living itself, which is called it is called this is the problem when you get old. The correct word doesn't come.
Jivan Mukti.
Jivan Mukti. And what they say is that then the question will be, what happens after death? Then after death, this body perishes, it gets destroyed by whatever means is there, and the reflection goes away. So when the reflection goes away, does it mean the reflection goes and joins the original object? No. That is only in films they show. That one light will go and merge with somebody and all that. That is only filmatic moksha. When the reflecting medium has gone away, the reflection also goes away along with that. So whenever we talk of merging of the Jivatma with Paramatma and all, again, that is a very as though merging. There is no actual merging or anything that takes place. It is just that the reflection goes away because the reflecting medium goes away. The body goes away. And because of the knowledge gained, the body, all the karmas also perish, so there is no rebirth. What remains is Paramatma only. So we as Paramatma will remain as it is. So even when we talk of merging and all that, we must understand this. All these mergings are all figurative expressions. In reality, nothing such happens. Okay. So I think this much is enough. I have already taken more than half an hour for this, which I didn't intend to do, but it's okay. So if there's still some questions, you can ask in Satsanga. Now we will go to Vishnu Sahasranamam. Okay. So we have seen Visishtaha. Okay. Next nama is Shishtakrit. Shishtakrit, there are two meanings. The maker of the laws or the maker or protector of good people also. That two meanings are there. And Adi Shankara, what he says, Shishtam Shasanam Karoti. One second. Where does it go? Yeah. Shishtam Shasanam Tat Karoti iti Shishtakrit. Shishtan Karoti Palayati iti va. सामान्य वचनो धातुर विशेष वचन है दृष्ट है कुरु काष्टानित्यहरणे यथा तद्विद्धि वा शिष्टकृत. So he says there is a lot of grammar point he is actually bringing out which we can omit. So we'll only see system. Shasanam karoti iti shishtakrit, shishtan karoti palayati iti va. These two meanings we will see. So shishta can mean, got two meanings. Shishta means the laws, that is the law and order is shishta. Or shishta also can mean good people, shishtachara, people who live a life of in accordance with dharma. Those people are also called Shishta. Okay, so the two meanings are there. So Bhagavan is the maker of the laws. That we know that he is the one who is actually the Ishwara's order. When we talk about the order of Ishwara, he is the one who has actually put this order in place. And he not only makes the laws, but he also draws the boundaries for everything. Like the ocean dharma is there. It is there in its place, and normal times it does not swallow the land mass. Even though the waves come very near to the land mass, but they go back, they recede. That is the boundary for the ocean. Bhagavan has said you should not cross this. There are people living there, there are jivas living there, animals are there, plants are there. You, ocean, should not destroy it. Fire is there as a potential in everything. In wood, fire is there. In a tree, fire is there as a potential. But that does not mean that every time the potential is there, the fire will burn all the trees. That fire manifests only under certain conditions. That is a boundary for the fire. The core of this earth is nothing but molten fire, lava. We see it when it comes out in all these volcanoes, isn't it? There is so much heat under this earth that if we try and travel towards the center of the earth, we will all be completely burned. But that heat is kept inside, and that comes out only under certain conditions and at certain places. So everything, if you actually look at it, is controlled. Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. Ocean also doesn't get frozen completely because of the salt content. The planets, they move in their own orbit. They don't change their course of movement. They say, oh, I have been going round and round and round like this. I am bored. Now let me change. Let me do a different round. Planets don't do that. We humans can do it. Just imagine if they start doing it, what will happen? So they do not change their course of movement. Thus, there are boundaries everywhere. And every entity in this prapancha has to live within those boundaries. And we also have to make boundaries for ourselves, our behavior towards others, and also make boundaries for the behavior of others towards us. This is very, very important, which we have to learn from Bhagavan only. Like Bhagavan has made boundaries for everything, every entity in this entire world. We should also make those boundaries if we want a peaceful existence in this world. It is because that we either fail to draw the boundaries, or we draw the boundaries but we fail to enforce those boundaries with other people and allow them to transgress those boundaries, is when we get into all sorts of mental trauma, physical trauma, everything. Our dukkha is basically because we allow other people to trample our boundaries. If we maintain a boundary and be strict about it, and that is what is Shishtaha is about, Shishta Purushaha is about. Draw a boundary, maintain that boundary, you will be happy, others also will be happy. So Bhagavan has already made those boundaries by giving a sense of dharma. Dharma has boundaries as what is to be done and what is not to be done. So therefore, Shishtan Karoti, Bhagavan makes the laws and draws boundaries for the welfare of the world, and therefore he is Shishtakrit. And as I said, by making the boundaries, Shishtan Karoti, we ourselves will become what? Shishtan Karoti. Earlier it was Shishtam Shasanam Karoti. Now Shishtan Karoti makes people dharmika and cultured, and hence he is called Shishtakrit, the one who makes people dharmika and cultured. So Shishtakrit, two names of Bhagavan. One meaning is he is the one who has actually laid down the law of this entire universe, the cosmic order, and also within that order, he has laid down the boundaries for the behavior or for the, you can say behavior of every entity. Similarly, Bhagavan is the one who has actually given us all the Vedas and all the scriptures, everything, for us to learn them and draw our own boundaries within the dharmika, within the dharma, and make us dharmika and cultured, and he is the one who makes us Shishtakrit. So in both ways, Bhagavan is Shishtakrit. Next is Shuchihi. Shuchihi means the one who is pure. Adi Shankara says, Niranjanaha Shuchihi. That's all he says. So, of course, Puja Swamiji expands this little bit. He says, Anjanam, Maya Tat Karyam Cha, Tad Rahitaha Niranjanaha Shuchihi. So, Shuchi means, as I said, one who is pure. In fact, we have seen this Nama earlier also, if you remember. There, Adi Shankara took the meaning as the purifier, isn't it? Pure and purifier, I think both meanings he took. Here he takes a slightly different shade of meaning. So what he is saying is Niranjanaha. Anjanam is here referring to as the impurity created by Maya. And what are the impurities? They are raga, dvesha, etc., punya, papa, etc. All these are all anjanam. Anjanam, which are the product of Maya. But Bhagavan is not tainted by all these Maya or Maya Karya. So he is called Shuchi. He is pure, being not tainted by Maya. Maya Tat Karyam Cha Tad Rahitaha. Without that Niranjanaha. So that is how he is pure. Not tainted by Maya and Maya's Karya. Even though Maya functions under Bhagavan. Here when we say Bhagavan, we are talking about Brahman. Bhagavan Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Mama Maya, my Maya. Maya belongs to Bhagavan, but even though Maya belongs to Bhagavan, that Maya does not taint Bhagavan. So that is how we have to understand this word Suchihi. Then next is Siddhartha. Siddhartha means the one who obtains what he desires. Siddha, Nivrittaha, Artyamanaha, Artaha Asyeti Siddhartha. Satya Kamaha iti Shrutehe. Yes. So whatever is Artyamana, Artyamana means desired by a person, is what? Artha. Artha has got a base, the main definition as security, but that can be in the form of wealth, pleasures, etc. All come under the definition of Artha. Then other is Punya. You is also by doing all Dharma Karyam and all Punya, that also can be brought under Artha. And what are all attained by them? And we can even include moksha in that, because that is also Artyamana. One of the Purusharthas, the last Purushartha. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, all these four are Purusharthas, and a Jiva has to accomplish these one by one, and for that he seeks them, and Jiva seeks them only because he does not have them. If a Jiva has got enough wealth, he will never be a Artharthi seeking wealth. So one who has accomplished all the Purusharthas is called a Siddhartha. Siddhartha, it's a compound. Dhammartha, yasya saha. I think so. It's a Bahuvrihi, Siddhartha. So one who has accomplished all the Purusharthas. And this is not easy for a Jiva to accomplish all the Purusharthas. Artha Purushartha, Kama Purushartha, Dharma Purushartha, only very, very rarely a Jiva can achieve all the four Purusharthas. In fact, the first three Purusharthas still is possible to achieve in one's lifetime. Moksha Purushartha, one needs to work separately. In fact, one needs to get rid of this Artha, Kama, Dharma, and then only one can pursue Moksha Purushartha. And it is the most difficult thing for any Jiva, this let go business. As I was explaining yesterday in Bhagavad Gita class, the most difficult thing in our life is this letting go. There was a Hindi movie I remember, Jaane Bhi Do Yaro. That attitude is the one which opens the lock of moksha. And that is what Arjuna was not able to do. Karpanyam, that is where the Karpanyam comes. Wretchedness, helplessness. We are helpless. We are not able to let go things. So that is why for this Moksha Purushartha, we can pursue this spiritual journey or spiritual knowledge only by the grace of the Lord. Why? Because the Lord is the one who has gained this knowledge, who has already reached that. He has already Siddhartha. So, by gaining the knowledge of this Lord and thereby attaining only the worthwhile Purushartha, which is moksha, is also to be is said to be Siddhartha. And even here we have to understand very carefully, and this is purely from a Advaita Darshana point of view. All this pursuit, spiritual journey and all we are talking about is all in the realm of ignorance. It is just like, I often compare, even I think somewhere either Paramarthananda ji or Sadatmananda ji has mentioned this. People undertake all this fasting, everything, 40 days of Vratam, then trek through very treacherous and very, very, painful journey towards Shabarimala. They do it year after year after year, and that is a very big claim they make about it. This is my 41st time I am going to Shabarimala. And those who have gone to Shabarimala will know that as you reach the Sanctum Sanctorum, outside that Bhagavan's, Garbhagraha, what is the board, Tattvamasi. That is the board there. So when you reach there and you read Tattvamasi, and if you have a reflective mind, you think, why did I take all this trouble to come here to see Bhagavan? Bhagavan is telling us, why did you come here? You are that Bhagavan only, Tattvamasi. So all these things we are doing because we are ignorant about this. But in reality, the Upanishad says you are already a Mukta Purusha. What moksha journey you are talking about? It is because of your ignorance, you don't have the knowledge that you are a Mukta Purusha, that you are actually searching for moksha everywhere. Going to different gurus. Of course, it is not wrong to go to gurus because ignorance can go only by knowledge, and the knowledge can be got only from a guru. So there is no harm in going to a guru. It is just like, somebody has got his specs here and searching everywhere for his specs. And it happens in old age for most of us, isn't it? Then somebody comes, mostly our, spouse, whether man or woman, both are gurus for each other only. They say, what are you searching? I am searching for my specs, my glasses. It is there in your head only. It is with you only. Where are you searching? Then we see, oh my God. Oh Guru, thank you very much. It was with me always. I never realized it. I was ignorant about it. Moksha is like that only. We are already Mukta Purusha. We are already liberated from our Swarupa point of view, but we are not aware. So this Jnanam can also be gained only through Bhagavan's grace. So in the case of a Jiva, the arthas or the purusharthas are at first sadhya, that which needs to be attained, all purusharthas, including moksha. And then they become siddha. That is, I have attained it, I am a siddha. But Bhagavan being purna, and that's what here Adi Shankara says, apta kamaha, satya kamaha, right? He is apta kamaha. With his desires ever fulfilled, he does not need to achieve them. That's why he is Siddhartha, because his Purusharthas are all accomplished. And here the quotation with Adi Shankara gives, Satyakamaha, is from Chandogya Upanishad. Even in Gita, Bhagavan says, Name Partha asti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. I have nothing to do, no work to do, hey Arjuna, in all the three worlds. Na avaptam, sorry, na, what is that? Nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. So for me, there is nothing to be done. In all the three worlds, there is nothing to be achieved by me, which is not already gained. So the person who has achieved everything that is there to be achieved is called a Siddhartha. And this can be given, this Siddhartha Nama can be given only to Bhagavan at this point in time, or to some jnanis who have actually achieved. what all is to be achieved. In fact, the Upanishad says, if you achieve the understanding, the knowledge, if you attain the knowledge of the Paramatma, everything else is known by that. There is nothing more to be known. That is the ultimate knowledge. So, right now, from our standpoint of view, Bhagavan is Siddhartha, and we also can become Siddhartha if we actually pursue all the sadhanas which are there, which have been prescribed or ordained in the Shastras. That is Siddhartha. Then the next nama is Siddha Sankalpa. More or less related, the one whose intentions are fulfilled. Sankalpa here means intention. Siddha Nishpanna Sankalpa Asya iti Siddha Sankalpa Satya Sankalpa. So Sankalpa, if the Lord has a Sankalpa or an intention, an idea, that very Sankalpa is already Siddha, which is accomplished. Like even in our dream, we think of a mountain and the mountain is there. Actually, there is no time gap between the thought and the thought of the mountain and the arrival of the mountain. In fact, very thought in the dream is the mountain. Luckily for us, in our waking state, whatever we think of does not always come, appear immediately. Otherwise, we may all be in very deep problem. Isn't it? But for Bhagavan, all his sankalpa, they all come true, and therefore he is Siddha Sankalpa. And again, the Chandogya Upanishad speaks of him as Satya Sankalpa, because whatever he Sankalpa he makes, that is Satyam, that will happen. And as I said, there is no time difference between Bhagavan making some Sankalpa and it's happening. It is just like, he thinks of it and it happens like that. For Bhagavan, it is like that. Similarly, also this entire Prapancha. Taittiriya Upanishad talks about he made a Sankalpa and created this world. From where? Out of his own self. So this is Satya Sankalpa or Siddha Sankalpa. Do we have time for? Yeah, we'll take one more nama. Siddhidaha. Siddhi means success. So Siddhidaha means the one who gives success. Siddhim phalam kartrubhyah swadhikaranurupatah swadhikara anurupatah dadati iti siddhitah. Swadhikara anurupatah, in accordance with. So when we get a positive result in all our undertakings, what we call it? We call it success. I have been successful. But the real success, whatever we get it because of Bhagavan's grace only. He is the one who gives us that success by giving the results in keeping with our karma. But whatever we achieve or we don't achieve in our life, we must understand is all karma driven. And who is the karma phala data? Ishvara is the karma phala data. He is the one who actually gives the results of the karmas to us. So it is because of his grace that we get all this success. So that is why he is called Siddhidaha. Siddham Siddhi Dadati iti Siddhidaha. He is the one who gives all the success. Okay. So I think we will stop here. And the next nama. No, I will finish this nama also. Maybe take 1 minute more. So that then we can go to the next sloka in the next class. The last nama of this sloka is Siddhi Sadhana. So again, these are all in the same, Siddhartha, Siddhi, Siddha Sadhana. Everything is Bhagavan. So Siddhi Sadhana means the one who facilitates all the achievements, all the successes. Siddhehe sadhakatvat Siddhi Sadhana. So for achieving any end, all the means there is Parameshwara only. So he is the one who facilitates the Siddhi, the achievement, by removing the obstacles, by providing all the means for making those, for achieving those success. So the means is Parameshwara, the end is Parameshwara. Everything is Parameshwara. Therefore, he is Siddhi Sadhana. So we will stop, correct, 7 o'clock. We will stop here and continue in the next class. I'll say the prayers. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Thank you, Guruji.
Hariji, 1 minute. Those who want to say namaskaram and leave, let them leave.
Okay.
And we will have the satsang. Okay, Hari Om.
Thank you.
Okay. So now, Hariji, yes, question.
Hari Om. Acharya, can you once more explain about the boundary? You were telling we determine the boundary of others.
Yeah, see, basically though, if we actually reflect on why we become unhappy, what causes sorrow for us, if we reflect upon the cause for that, we normally blame others. So and so is responsible for my problems, isn't it? That is what our normal reaction to all our problems is. We never ever take it that the problem actually is within us. That's why Puja Swamiji says the problem is you and the solution is also within you. So if we want to be peaceful at all times, what should we do? Like countries, in order to live peacefully with each other, what do? They have got boundary, isn't it? They draw a boundary which is recognized by both. You will not cross this, I will not cross this, so that both of us can live peacefully. Similarly, in our lives also, we must learn to draw boundaries. It is when some people draw the boundaries, but then indiscriminately allow other people to transgress those boundaries and they get into trouble. They create trouble for others also. So it is nothing but creating the space. And of course, I can go full talk, I can do. It is about understanding the role play. The best example for that, which Puja Swamiji gives, is an actor. Any actor you take, whether he is Shivaji Ganeshan, Amitabh Bachchan, any film actor, stage actor you take. The actor actually comes on the stage as a different personality, isn't it? He is playing a role. For example, an actor may be playing a role of a beggar. And he will play that role so effectively that all the people in the audience will have sympathy for him. But within his mind, he knows that I am actually so and so and not this beggar. So whatever he does as a beggar, it doesn't flow into his individual personality. He doesn't get affected by that. Why? Because while playing that role, he has actually drawn a boundary between what he actually is, an actor, who today happens to play the role of a beggar. Tomorrow he may be playing a role of a prince. Day after tomorrow he may be playing the role of say a husband, whatever it is. Different roles, but he knows that at the core, I am only so and so and so. This actor, Amitabh Bachchan, Shivaji Ganesan, MGR, Rajinikanth, whatever name you want to be a favorite actor, you can achieve. So what the scriptures say is that if you understand this logic, if you understand this process, where the actor actually has drawn a boundary between him and his role, then the actor is saved or is protected from all that experiences that he undergoes in that role. Similarly, if we actually analyze what our activities are what? We play different roles with different people at different times. The same person plays the role of a father with respect to his children, plays the role of a husband or wife with respect to the spouse, plays the role of a son or a daughter with respect to the parents, plays the role of a subordinate with respect to his bosses in the office, plays the role of a boss with respect to his subordinates. If you actually every single action that we do every day, we will find that it is nothing but a role play. Only thing is we are required to juggle these roles from morning till night. And every role has got a potential to create problem for us. So what we have to do, what we have to learn is that while playing the role, draw the lines, not allow what the role demands you to do to come back and pollute your own life. That gap, that space needs to be developed. That is the first stage where we have to, in our spiritual path, if we are talking about peace, if we are talking about happiness for ourselves, no harm in playing the roles. You can play any amount of roles, provided you play those roles with this understanding. What does that mean in practical terms? Whenever we are playing a role, even though you may emote, you may actually play that role with a lot of emotions, let that emotions not affect you. Create two sets of emotions, one emotion which is not affected. And that is what we call detachment, or whatever it is in Vedanta, what we call is sannyasa.
Objectivity.
Sorry?
Objectivity.
Objectivity. That is what is called objectivity. That we have to develop. Once we develop that, it's not easy, because ours is a mess of complete emotional, kind of involvement everywhere. So more and more objective we become. Whatever, let the world say anything about me, let the world do anything to me. So far as I am concerned, I am protected against that by my own rules, by my own the boundaries which they have drawn around me. This is the way I can explain this boundary, how to draw boundary. It can go on and on and on. So many other examples we can see, but in essence, this is what it is. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Any more questions? Nothing. No raised hands. Okay.
Guruji, I have a question.
Yes, please.
It's further to Hariji's excellent question, and thank you for the response and for the clarification. The role and the role playing is the gist of my question. Is there a possibility then of becoming a split personality rather than the wholeness of one, splitting ourselves into many? Is there something that happens with this role playing?
See, when we talk of a split personality, we normally refer to a psychological condition, which what you call schizophrenic, isn't it? That's what we refer to as split personality. A split personality in medical terms is a totally confused person, and his reaction is sometimes totally contradictory to reactions at other points in time. If that danger was there of becoming a split personality, every cinema actor, every stage actor should have been schizophrenic by now. Isn't it? Because they play so many roles. If he becomes a beggar, means he will start behaving like beggar with everybody. So it is not that we are not talking about a split personality. Split personality is a mental disorder. Whereas creating this space, creating this objectivity is putting the mental disorder into order. We are right now, split personality is only in one way or the other. It may not be a clinical condition for us, unlike some very extreme cases. But if we actually look at it in terms of our behavior, and this, if you are married, you will know. Your spouse will keep on pointing, that time you said this, now you are saying opposite. So we have got a very ready reminder for us, our split personality, which is there. And they will be true. I mean, it's not that just sometimes we will say something, other times we will say exactly opposite to that. Our thinking process will be opposite to that. What does that mean? There is no consistency in our thinking. And when there is no consistency in thinking, it means my present personality is different from my previous personality. So I have been living different personalities. That's a split personality. So as I said, all of us have got this split personality, but that is not very, I would say, manifesting in a very serious form. For those who manifest in a serious form, it is a clinical condition. They will go to Lataji and all that for treatment. Not Lataji, Lataji's colleagues rather. I don't know what is their specialty, but it doesn't matter. But the point here is not that at all. And that is why everything tapas, bhak tapas, everything comes into the picture. So that's why I said I can go on expanding this topic and talk about this only for hours together. So vak tapas means what? The thinking between what you are thinking, what you are saying, what you are doing, alignment with that. So that also is an aspect of this. So you can bring in all those things, the entire sadhanas you can bring into this objectivity. Ultimate purpose, when we talk about renouncing, sannyasa and all, what does it mean? Yes, sannyasi lives very much within the world only, no? Like Puja Swamiji, Swami Chinmayanandaji, and all these great Mahans, they all lived within this world only, within the same world, given the same kind of a infrastructure which we all have. But what is the difference? They discovered the secret of creating this trench around us and not allowing these internal enemies, Kama, Krodha, etc., to come, what they call the moat, which they used to build, a fortress around the fortress rather, moat, and then fill it with water. And what they do, they actually dig that or create that moat and fill it with a lot of water of love and compassion. The moment you do that, even if an enemy comes through that, our approach will be, it is only compassion, love for that person. So this is how we have to understand this creation of space, and not in terms of giving different behaviors at different times. You can do that as long as you are clear, you are objective in what you are doing. I hope I have explained.
Thank you. Yes, it's beautiful. It's also very inspirational, very aspirational.
Aspirational, I would call it, because we have to go towards that step by step by step. Every day, take a small step. Take a very small step. And I can tell you only one thing. These are all not theory. These are all practical things which people have practiced and they have succeeded. And that is why Vedas tell this to do this like that. So by looking at these Mahan, their lives, how they have gone through all these things, and personally also, whatever little, it may be just a small speck, but every day I am trying to do that and I am finding that it is working rather. And that is why I am convinced about it and I am able to tell about it in a convincing manner. If I am not convinced, I cannot talk to you convincingly about it. So here the experiment is with me, myself first, whether all these things are correct or not. And I personally feel it is correct. Rather, it happens, it delivers what it is promising. So that is how we have to take, it is aspirational because we don't know when it is going to happen complete. But every day, each step is a progress towards that end. Yeah.
Thank you for a beautiful explanation and also for the encouragement. I can say only through experience these talks and the clarification and also the other students and their questions has put things into not only theory, but slowly into practice. So
That's
thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank
Namaste, Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
you. Namaste. Thank you. Is the Hariji again? Your hand is there? Or okay, Lataji has raised one question. Hariji, who is first? Anybody can? Okay, Hariji, will take your question. Then I'll go to Lataji. Yes, Hariji.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om.
There is a beautiful comment given by Shakespeare about this.
Mhm.
That is, all the world is a stage, and all men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances.
Absolutely. Shakespeare was Advaita Vedantin. That's exactly what it is. So we have to treat, in fact, even in that movie, I think Anand, if I'm not wrong, or which is movie, I don't know. On Rajesh Khanna movie, he says, हम सब कठपुतलियां हैं और हमारी सबकी डोर भगवान के हाथ में है, वो जब चाहे जहां चाहे हमें नचा सकता है, and all some dialogue is there.
Anand only.
Anand only.
Anandoli, yeah.
Anand only. So it is just like that. We are all like puppets, different roles, different shapes, and different this thing is there. But at the end of the day, we must realize that all this is Maya only, including me, my body, etc. is a Maya only. It's an appearance. So that's a very nice quotation. Of course, Shakespeare is a lot of good things. He has right things he has said in many this thing. Yeah, good. Yes, Lataji.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Guruji, earlier you were saying that about the 4 Purusharthas. The mumukshatva is something that you can get only by the grace of the Paramatma, by the grace of the God. Just have 2 questions there. There's a more academic. Just being on the course itself makes us mumukshas, is what you told us. So we are feeling blessed about it. So how does one get the grace of the God for what makes one? What qualifies one to get the grace of the God for the mumukshatva one? If mumukshatva requires God's grace, then what about the other purusharthas? Does that mean that they're acquired by just our human effort?
No. All purusharthas basically, they are what? Our achieving anything or all our activities are governed by our karmas. Starting point, correct? Our past karmas are there, they are sanchita karmas. Out of that, prarabdha karmas lot mature, and then we take this birth, including our body, what sex we are formed, where we are born, everything is determined by our past karmas. That happens, and for that karma phala data is Ishvara, but Ishvara has got a very less role to play in that, because he will give us the results of our own actions, past actions based upon the law of karma. So that is already there. A constitution of law of karma is there, like IPC and CRPC and the penal code. if you do this crime, this is the punishment, and all that kind of thing is there. So Bhagavan sits as a judge and then he gives out this. He has no discretion in that. But when it comes to this moksha purushartha, what happens is Bhagavan actually understands that you are very near to your goal, because number one, you have got a lot of punyam which is there, which is what has first of all given you this human birth. And because of that punyam, you have also developed a spiritual inclination in this birth, which is what Bhagavan wants you, everybody, to do. So that blessing, what I should say, inclination on our part, that mumukshutvam on our part. And let me again warn you, whenever I say Bhagavan, 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 don't think an entity, physical entity. Huh? Always understand Bhagavan as the cosmic order. This is how the order works. And when we say we require the anugraha of Bhagavan, what we require is we require the support of the cosmic order. That is how we have to understand. That we should be clear. Because again, if we talk about Bhagavan is grace and all, our thinking should not go, oh, Bhagavan is becoming judgmental here. We should not think like that. This whole thing is a part of the cosmic order. So when in the cosmic order, when we develop this, the Purushartha, we develop mumukshutvam because of what? Because of our free will. So the desire to get moksha, that arises because of our free will. Isn't it? That is why some people choose to go for, these talks and all, or come to Bhagavad Gita class. And some people come to the class and go away also. So the free will is what first determines the Purusha. All Purusharthas are free will is an important component. First component, in fact. But in the case of moksha purushartha, what happens is that when you have developed that moksha purushartha, this cosmic order recognizes that you have utilized that free will for a purpose for which this entire thing is created, which is the ultimate goal of a human birth. Then the order supports this, your endeavor, by removing all the obstacles which are there. And in that process, the cosmic order also actually evaluates, are you serious about it? And that is why for people who are determined by the cosmic order, we can't see that determination not to be serious. They will face obstacles in pursuing the spiritual path. And I have seen that when in Gurukulam we started with 65 people, we ended up with 35 or 40 people. 1/3 of the class during the course of 3 years, one by one, for some reason or the other, they all had to leave. So those obstacles will be created. Now, without any obstacles, supporting, first of all, bringing us to the right Guru. As I said in yesterday's class, Mahapurusha Samshraya, that is also a part of how this cosmic order works. So we must, whenever we are talking about Bhagavan is doing that, Bhagavan is doing it, we are all talking about an order under which this whole thing is happening. Like, for example, Punya and Papa are within that order. We can't see Punya, we can't see Papa. We can't even know what is the result, for what Punya, what result we can get and all, we don't know. Only thing broadly we know, if we do Punya, we will get good results. If we do Papa, we will get unpleasant results. That's all we know. So even this mumukshutvam, when we are talking about, once you have developed a keen desire, a tivra icha for mumukshutvam, the cosmic order takes over and then supports you through this journey. And it's a beautiful thing. Rather, I mean, we will have to spread our imagination, not looking at some Bhagavan, some entities sitting in some Swarga and all. It is very much here, everywhere. The order is everywhere, all pervasive. As I am talking to you, the order is witnessing. It's a Chaitanya, which is a Sakshi Chaitanya, witnessing what all I am telling you. And if I tell you something wrong, the order will make a note in its pad. This guy is just bluffing his way around. It will make a note. I am aware of that. So I am very careful. So when I talk of mumukshatvam, it is this order which, when we got the, sorry, Deva Anugraha Hetukam is what, Viveka Chudamani says. This Deva Anugraha, what is Deva? Devatas are nothing but the powers which are there in the cosmic order. Different powers are different Devatas. We are given them names. But they are powers. The power to burn, we call it Agni. The power to blow off, we call it Vayu. So we have given names like that, but everything, Indra Bhagavan, Varuna Bhagavan, we say, Varuna Devata, Indra Devata, all are what? Powers in the cosmos. And those powers are all total powers. They don't lack anything. Those, if it is Varuna Bhagavan, power of rain, total power of rain is with Varuna Bhagavan. So whenever we are talking about Deva Anugraha Hetukam or grace of Bhagavan, we will have to understand it in this context that this cosmic order which is there, which is the consciousness, Satchitananda consciousness, which is constantly witnessing every act, everything we say, everything we do, depending upon our intentions, it will support us. If they are dharmic, if they are towards the ultimate goal, which is there inscribed in the Vedas given by Bhagavan. Again, I'm saying using the word Bhagavan because it's easy to use. That is the purpose of this entire cosmos. If you ask a question, what is the purpose of this creation? The purpose of this creation is for every jiva to attain moksha. That is the purpose of this creation. Unfortunately, what happens is in every creation, every round of creation, some people attain moksha, but many others get carried forward. It is like a businessman, like, borrowing money from the bank, trying to repay it. Every year, only some amount he is able to repay. Other things get carried forward to the next year. It never ends. That debt never ends. And he runs away from India also. Okay.
It's a revelation. It's a revelation today to me that mumukshatva is by free will. I always thought it is the previous three purusharthas are stepping stones to go to the mumukshatva. So it's not so. At any stage, you can get the free. Somebody can use by free will can aspire for mumukshatva.
You are right in your understanding that mumukshutvam. See. All these purusharthas, which is dharma, artha, kama, which are prayers, right? That's why they are called prayers. And mumukshutvam is called, moksha purushartha is called shreyas, the best among them, right? Ultimate goal is this moksha purushartha. Now, these other three purusharthas also are by free will only. Other thing we must note is that it is not necessary that we must attain all these purusharthas in one life. When do we actually go to the other one? For example, I'll tell you, a person who doesn't have a shelter above his head, he doesn't know from where he is going to get his next meal. What will be his purushartha? Will he be able to think of any kama? Will he be able to think of any dharma? He has to use his free will capacity to earn something and feed himself, find a shelter for himself and his family if he has a family and all that. So at that stage, when one is focused only on artha purushartha, that person will not have any room for using his free will for thinking of other purusharthas at all. Right? You agree with that?
Yes,
Now,
Guruji.
suppose there is a person who is actually got a house, family, married and all that. Yeah, got a good job, earning very well and all, getting promotion and all that. What will he use his purushartha for? He will use his purushartha for kama. Kama here, I don't mean anything, this thing. Kama means sense pleasures. It could be in the form of buying a new car. It could be in the form of undertaking a journey to foreign lands, or some holiday in some places and all that. All these are all coming under kama purushartha. So one can think of kama purushartha only when one has reached a certain saturation of artha purushartha. The security, once one is secure, then he can think of pleasures. Then the next stage is what? He talks of pleasures also. He has enjoyed enough. Lot of money he has earned. He says, I don't know, there's so much money and I see poverty around. I see people who are helpless. So he will come into dharma purushartha. He will try to spend money for those people, charity, undertake pilgrimages, help people, do annadanam, all dharmic karyas, reaching out karmas, or even earn more punya. Of course, these things also will give punya, but he will try to understand, okay, what else I can do? Okay, let me actually learn some Vedas or some do chanting, some Vishnu Sahasranamam chanting and all. All these things will give me punya is what he has been told. But what actually is the purpose of this dharma purushartha? Dharma purushartha purpose, undeclared purpose of dharma purushartha is to bring more and more chitta shuddhi for you. Prepare you for moksha purushartha. So even though we say dharma artha kama is how we say, but actually in terms of its sequence, it is artha first, then kama, then comes dharma. Not necessarily in terms of age, but in terms of experience. So then at that stage, he gives dharma the importance, and that dharma purushartha, we say it gives punyam. What that punyam is used by the cosmic order is for gaining chitta shuddhi. You gain chitta shuddhi by doing that dharma, because reaching out karmas is nothing but a manifestation of love and compassion for other living beings, whether it is human beings or whether it is just plants or whether it is animals, anything rather, any living being, including, I would say, environment protection and things like that and all. I am careful not to pollute this environment by my actions. It's also reaching out karma only. Because other people are breathing here. I should not make their life miserable by polluting this entire environment. Also a dharma karma only, dharma karyam only. So when you come to the dharma purushartha, what is happening indirectly or without our knowledge is there is a purification of our intellect going on. Behind the scene, that is what is happening. And that makes you ready for moksha purushartha. Because you are using your free will to get into moksha purushartha as your goal in life will not happen. It will be obstructed unless you have got a relatively pure intellect. So when you look at these purusharthas also, we must see the design of this cosmic order behind this. We must understand that. From a macro level, what is this purushartha means, free will and all, we keep discussing. And so free will is because everybody is not given this choice. You have to make the choice first. Once you make the choice, then you are taken through the process. Then that is how, when you come to the moksha purushartha stage, you have attained sufficient chitta shuddhi. Then you develop for moksha purushartha. And here we are talking about moksha purushartha, not in terms of going to Vaikuntha and all that. You can go to Vaikuntha right from Artha Kama also, rather. Because that doesn't differentiate between all these things. We are talking what is there in the Upanishads, what is the scheme of the entire Vedas. In fact, Karma Kanda is all about this only. And when we come, even Karma Yoga is part of this Dharma Purushartha, Karma Yoga. And there also the Vedas Purva Bhaga help us. They make us do all these dharmic karyams and tell us, by doing all these things, you will be fulfilling your Kama Purushartha and Artha Purushartha. So we do all that. We do all these pujas and things like that. Go and pray. Oh, I don't have a son. I don't. My daughter is not getting married. All these kind of things. We go and pray and we do pujas and havans, everything and all. But what is actually happening is, it is putting you in the rut of Karma Yoga. So when you start, initially you start with Artha and Kama Purushartha. When you come to, in the same performance of the same pujas, the Dharma Purushartha stage, you then get into Nishkama Karma. I am doing all these things, nothing for me. I am doing it for Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. I am doing this puja for that. I am doing this havan for that. Not for me. I don't want anything. Hey Bhagavan, you have given me everything that I wanted. Now this thing is Nishkama Karma. The moment you come to that stage of Karma Yoga, automatically the cleaning process starts. The belts and all start whirring inside you, and then starts cleaning your raga, dvesha, krodha. All these slowly come down. And you can actually experience this if you are very observant about your own day-to-day living. If you observe it, most of us don't do it because we are busy observing other things, external things. We don't observe ourselves at all. If you observe, you can see this actually happening. So once you get into that Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma, and prepare yourself for the Moksha Purushartha as a exercise of the free will automatically come in your mind. But that has to come. That doesn't come for everybody. So many people will be stuck in the Dharma Purushartha only. I know of a lot of people who are very close with Chinmayananda ji, but they don't accept his thinking. They don't accept Advaita Vedanta. They don't accept there is Ishvara. They believe in all social service and all. They believe Manav Seva is Narayana Seva, all that thing they say, but they don't think even of moksha rather. So this Moksha Purushartha, even though you have got a relative degree of purity in your mind in terms by doing all these dharma karyams, these purta karmas and all that, you have to use your free will to choose moksha as your ultimate goal. And when you do that, that is what is called mumukshutvam. It is mumukshutvam is not born out of frustration with the samsara. We must understand that. Many people think that I am fed up with this life, so I want to run away, become sannyasi. That is absolutely nonsense. Mumukshutvam comes out of a feeling of contentment, out of a feeling of fulfillment. There is nothing more that this world can give me. It has given me artha, it has given me kama, it has given me dharma. There is nothing more that this world can give me. Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmana. A person comes to realize this world is good. It has given me everything. Nothing more it can give. So I am not aspiring for anything from this world. That is the attitude with which the mumukshutvam should come. Mumukshutvam should not come, oh, my parents are all sick, my brother is not taking care, and I don't want to take this responsibility. I will run away to an ashram and become a mumukshu. That is not mumukshutvam.
Spalayan.
So this is this, as I said, these are all very vast topics where we can go on discussing. But
Thank you very much.
at the
Guruji.
essence, I have told you what it is. That why Purushartha, Moksha is a Purushartha.
It's a great revelation. It's a great. Thank you so
That's how
much.
we have to understand all these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something
Yes, Hariji, any more?
Very beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, Hariji.
Hari Om. See, when we are talking about the grace from the Paramatman, you have taught us that the Paramatman is absolutely neutral. He is not going to give any grace to me or X or Y specifically. That he has no role to play there at all. He is all pervading, and whether I am a criminal or a saint, his there is everything is same to everybody. So the grace cannot come from an external source. Number one. And number two, when I say that I am getting grace from X or Y, say Paramatman, which automatically means that myself and Paramatman are different. Only when there is a separation or a difference is there, I can give grace to X or Y because I am different from X or Y. So in this case, since we have been repeatedly taught that there is Aham Brahmasmi, that I am the Paramatman. So from external source, no grace can come to me.
Correct.
It is my, you talked about Purushartha, free will. That in the Shastra, they say Icha Shakti, that I have got the, though Icha Shakti can be translated as desire, but it is not that desire. That is my willful desire is Icha Shakti. So when due to my own previous karmas and my own Chitta Suddhi, if I have got mumukshutvam, that I have to realize, then that is my own. It is not from an external grace. It is my own effort.
Correct.
And my own Icha Shakti.
See, what the Shastras always talk about is, actually speaking, we talk of Jivatma, Paramatma, Karma and all that. Ultimately, when you reach that, when on the one hand you are seeing there is only God, there is nothing other than Paramatma. Now, what is all this? This is all just Mithya. Even Vedas are Mithya from the point of view. But there is only one which is reality. Everything is else unreal. I wouldn't say unreal. Appear to be real, but don't have any substance of reality in them. All these karmas, varmas are all relevant only from our ignorant, ajnani point of view. From a jnani point of view, there is no karma, there is no chitta shuddhi, there is nothing. There is only Paramatma, period. There is no Vishnu Sahasranamam also. But in order to reach that understanding, it's not easy. True. By just telling that understanding will not come, or reading the books, it will not come. That is why this entire process is put in place. It's a very rigorous process, but we have to go through, let this be real, treat this as real. That's why in Upanishads, the word Iva is a very important word. Iva in Sanskrit means as though. As if. Nothing is stated as something definite.
Yeah.
Every description in the Upanishad, we will come across this Iva only, like as though like this, as though like that. They don't say that this is definite, because Upanishad know that nothing, all these are just appearance, it's Maya only. Even Vedas are Mithya only. But if we say that at the beginning stage, the student will get totally confused. This is an understanding one needs to get at the time when you are becoming a jnani, that all these things I have been doing all along was a waste. Not a waste, because without that, I would not have reached this stage. But they had to be done. It's just like, whenever we are solving some mathematical equation, we assume x, y, or let this be 100, and then we solve the equation and remove the effect of that 100. It is like that, kind of a thing. So in order to reach that, there's a very nice story. I think many of you may know that story. There was one person who had 17 horses. I think do you know the story? Sulekaji, you know the story? No. Lataji, you know it? No. So this person had got 17 horses and he had 3 sons. And he was about to die. So when he was about to die, he called the 3 sons and told the eldest son that out of all the horses that I have, you take half of them, belongs to you. He said, very good. Thank you very much, father. Then he called the second son. He says, of all the horses that I have got, what you take is half of them given to him. He says, you take 1/3. Isn't it? So, yes, you take 1/3. So he said, thank you very much. Then he called the third son. He says that out of all the horses that I have got, I have given half to 1/2 to him, 1/3 to him. Now what is left? If you add 1/2 plus 1/3, what is left? Tell me. Mathematics, you're all arithmetic genius. I don't know maths. So he says 1/6 will go to you. Is it correct? 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/6 is 1. Right?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah.
1/6 you take. So this fellow died. And they all went to the stable. They found 17 horses only there. And they were wondering, oh my God, what is this father has told? Half one should take. So that means why 8.5 horses should go to one son. So he has to cut a horse into half rather. Then they were confused how to do it. So when they were actually in this condition, one Mahatma came riding on a horse. What is the problem? He said, this is the problem. My father has left. He told all these things, and now we find that there are 17 horses. And we don't know how to divide 17 horses in the formula that the father has given. So the Mahatma says, oh, that's a very simple thing. Let us do one thing. I will add my horse also to your stable and make it 18. Very good, very good. So now half your father said 9 horses you take. First son. Second son, how much he said? 1/3. So 1/3 of 18 is 6. So 6 horses you take. Then the third son is what? He had told 1/6, isn't it? Not 1/6.
Yeah, Guruji, 1/6.
Yeah, 1/6 only, no? So, but then the 1/6 plus 1/3 plus 1/2 is it doesn't come to I'm making some mistake in the equation somewhere. Or maybe he said the remaining horses you take or something like that, he said. No, he gave a number 1/2 or 1/9, correct. 1/9 you take. Third son. So first son is 1/6, sorry, 1/2. Second son is 1/6. Third son is 1/9, correct. So first son got 9 horses. The second son got 6 horses. And the third 1/9 of 18 is what? 2. The third son got 2 horses. And the Mahatma took back his own horse and he went away. Made the distribution like that. Introduced one horse and removed that horse in the end. So nothing happened to that horse. Similarly, this entire Vedas, everything are all introduced. Then in the end, when we actually become Jnanis, they are all taken away as Mithya and Maya. No, they have no relevance, my dear. There is only Paramatma, and that Paramatma is you. Understand that. That's the end of story for your this Jiva. That is how the whole thing works. I have taken a lot of time of yours. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Guruji.
I have a request, Guruji. In one of your, not during this class, but when you have got time at a little bit on theory of illusion, if you can give us.
Maya.
Yeah. No, not now.
No, okay.
Yeah.
There is nothing much to talk about Maya because Vedanta doesn't talk about Maya much at all. Because it says, what the point in talking of that which doesn't exist? But then, yes, I mean, see, what I will do is, it may not be a separate session or anything, but whenever I get an opportunity, I will talk about this Maya. So it is something to be understood, no doubt, rather, because unless we understand Maya, we cannot understand the reality or the apparent reality of this Jagat also, rather, because the Jagat is completely all Maya only, rather. So I will certainly touch upon that whenever I get an opportunity. Okay. Anything more? Any more questions? Or shall we close the session? Okay. Right, then I think it's almost 8 o'clock now, 7:50. We'll close it and continue next Sunday. Okay. Hari Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Hari Om.
ಮಹೋದಯ.
Thank you.
Hari
very
Om.
much. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Namaste, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.